Welcome into Wager Talk TV. I am Drew Martin, joined by Tony Mejia and Rob Vino of WagerTalk.com. We're talking Big Ten Conference football Saturday, 3:30 Eastern kick here, Tony. We get the Nebraska Cornhuskers and the Wisconsin Badgers. We're seeing Wisconsin. They open minus 11-point favorites, seeing mostly 9.5 now, looking at the Wager Talk odds screen. 42 being the total. Camp Randall on Saturday. They're going to be jumping around talking about the Badgers fans, Tony?
Well, they're definitely going to be jumping around, win or lose, at the beginning of the fourth quarter. But will they be happily jumping around? Probably. I mean, look, one name that two things stood out to me in researching this game. One, I didn't realize Adrian Martinez had a chance to come back just because of how convoluted things have gone with COVID and the extra eligibility and whatnot, because he's been there forever. But apparently, he's got an option to come back next year. We already know that Scott Frost, barring something unforeseen, has been given a vote of confidence to return in 2022. But who won't be returning, and this is a blast from the past for me, is Mario Verduzco, who was Scott Frost's quarterback consigliere at UCF and really did nice work with Mackenzie Milton. And, Frost took the entire staff basically to Lincoln with him. And so he's been Adrian Martinez quarterback whisperer for the past few years, and that he was fired. I guess a sacrificial lamb, which coaches have to do to keep their jobs. That's just the way the world works in college athletics. And Martinez was non-committal about returning to Lincoln, despite the fact that Frost is. So little unrest there, and it's interesting because of the situation that Nebraska has found itself in, like Groundhog Day all season long, where Martinez continues to make mistakes late in the game and they continue to lose one possession games. And it's been ridiculous. It's almost makes you cry if it didn't make you laugh. Right before the bye, they were hung in there against Ohio State at home, lost 26-17. They were in the game against Purdue. They were in the game against Minnesota, against Michigan State, against Oklahoma, all one possession games. So clearly Michigan can hang, and they should be able to hang with a Wisconsin team that has really turned it up of late, but wasn't impressive at home to start the season. And so you figure if Nebraska doesn't mind the fact that they're not playing for a bowl and they are invested in playing for pride and seeing what they can get in what's a rivalry game, in that Wisconsin has dominated this series. Nebraska has only won once since joining the Big Ten against the Badgers. Then I would say that Nebraska's live in terms of getting points. Ches Malusi, the running back for Wisconsin, out for the year. They had lost Isaac Guerrero earlier in the season. So their starting running back right now is a 17-year-old who's looked really good, Braylon Allen. But again, he's 17. He comes off a 189-yard performance with 3 touchdowns against Northwestern. And Wisconsin's obviously going to ride that offensive line. It doesn't matter who's running behind it. Me, you, and Vino can run behind it and probably rack up 200 yards. But, the fact that they're down to a 17-year-old freshman running back and some walk-ons behind them kind of evens the playing field a little more if you're in Nebraska. So this would be a situation where the Huskers would go down swinging, their road finale. They play Iowa in another rivalry game next week. Again, the bowl is out the window, winning season's out the window, yet Scott Frost got given a vote of confidence. So we'll see if the Huskers rally around their head coach, if Adrian Martinez can set aside the fact that his quarterback guru is no longer with him, and if they can take advantage of a really physical Wisconsin defense that hasn't given up much of late. 7 points against Iowa, 3 against Rutgers, and 7 last week against Northwestern. So they've really got it going since losing to Michigan. They've won 6 straight. And again, it's the defense that's doing the heavy lifting. And because we can't trust Adrian Martinez, it's kind of dicey to lay points. I would just go with the under, even though it's low. The total, I believe, is 42. I would say that we cruise underneath the 42, and my slight lean would be Nebraska plus 9.5, a 10 if it gets there. But the fact that Martinez has messed up in so many tight games kind of leads me to want to stay away from Nebraska altogether.
Sure, low total, but low for a reason. Two defensive-minded squads here. Rob, coming to you in conclusion, anything you like in with Cornhuskers and Badgers on Saturday?
Well, I'll say this. Tony started this, so I'm going to pile on. I wanted to pile on anyway, but I'm going to get to that in a minute. Reasons why you would like Nebraska in this game. Scheduling is kind to them, guys. It's their second bye week in the last 4 weeks. I mean, they're coming off a bye here, but they've had 2 byes in the last 4 weeks. So certainly any lingering injuries, any fatigue, anything should not be in question for the Nebraska side. The 1 year given to Scott Frost could be a big deal. Scott Frost telling everybody that 2022 is the season he's been pointing towards. I guess that's what you say when you haven't been to a bowl in forever. But boy, oh boy, he should hope that Adrian Martinez chooses not to come back. God, if they can get him out of the program, they might win a few games. The other reason you might like Nebraska, aside from scheduling, is the fact that they've been really good in this role. And they haven't played easy teams when they're underdog. I mean, they've been underdog 4 times this year. They're 2-1-1, depending on when you got the price, what you got the line at in the Michigan State game, I think. But 2-1-1 as an underdog to Oklahoma, in Oklahoma, to Michigan State, in Michigan State, to Michigan. That game was home at Lincoln. And then, they're catching points from Ohio State, and they cover pretty easily, only lose by 9. They've come close in those games. I think the troublesome part is their defense, which is their anchor this year. Another UCF name, as Tony mentioned, the whole coaching staff, but Eric Shenander's done a great job with this defense. However, in these games, guys, 459 yards to Michigan, even though they covered, 495 yards to Ohio State, even though they covered, 408 yards to Oklahoma in that contest. And the Michigan game was a push, not a cover, but Oklahoma, they did cover. So, they're giving up a lot of yardage, but they're hanging in games because they're forcing these teams to kick field goals. We'll see with Wisconsin here. Wisconsin is basically a touchdown team. They don't kick a lot of field goals. They score touchdowns. But those are your reasons to like Nebraska. Very good as a dog against good competition, good scheduling spot for them. Scott Frost is back. Maybe the team's rejuvenated. But, I mean, the biggest equalizer of all is having Adrian Martinez as your quarterback. You want him against this defense? Probably not. This is the best defense they faced all season long. If there's been one constant for Wisconsin, even when they were bad to start the season, their defense was terrific in every single game they played. If they win here and they win at Minnesota next week, they go to the Big Ten championship game. And I don't know that Ohio State wants to really see this defense. Not that Wisconsin, is going to be the favorite or anything, but this would be a tough matchup defensively against the Ohio State offense. So they need to win out. The motivation's certainly there. Wisconsin's on a 4-0 ATS run, as hot as they've been all season long, 5-1 against the spread in their last 6 since they lost to Michigan in the 4-game stretch. The 4-0 stretch, they've outscored their opponents 144-30. So nobody's getting anything off of them. Purdue got 13, Iowa 7, Rutgers 3, Northwestern 7. I don't know what Nebraska's going to get here. Tony's lean towards under could be absolutely correct in this spot. I just don't trust Adrian Martinez again against a defense like this, so there's no way I can get to Nebraska. If anything, I would play Wisconsin in this contest. But I like what Tony likes, which is under. I could very well see this game being somewhere in the 24-13 vicinity, which keeps you fairly well under the total. So that's the way I'll look as well, under 42.
42 to the under. Gotta love Big Ten football in November. I am Drew Martin, joined by Robbie Vino and Tony Mejia. Check us all out at WagerTalk.com. Tuesday's a great day to do so. $2 Tuesdays. Top handicappers, top play, discounted to just $2. Check it out, WagerTalk.com.